Hey everybody, welcome to Hey We're Talking. It's me, Scotty D. Got Derek Tant in the house. How you doing, Derek?
I'm doing well, Scott.
Oh.
Contrary to what you may think, I'm actually pretty happy, well-adjusted, balanced, and footloose and fancy-free. How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing great. I mean, I've got a little tiny hand, but, you know, that's okay. Other than that, I'm doing fine.
See, now you wouldn't see that tiny hand if you're just listening to the podcast. If you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, it's guaranteed.
You can see my tiny hand.
You can see Bob is literally putting a tiny hand up to the camera and saying, that's enough of that. He's telling you to stop.
We could do the German slapping.
It's Russians.
Oh, yeah, the Russians.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
We were colluding before the show about the Russians.
World War I.
Oh, wait a minute. There was no collusion. All right. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure that you hit the like button and hit the bell. You'll know when the video comes out. You can watch it to your heart's content. You can see our bright, shiny, happy faces. Derek's got extra special lighting today. He looks well lit.
Yeah, hashtag it's lit.
Your son is in the other room like, oh, Dad. Stop. Stop being a dad.
He's not going to know. He's not going to know. No, so my setup is a little weird. I have this little janky desk over here. It's like a stand. It's like a book stand. Mm-hmm. And it's what my laptop was on before. And it was a little short and it was a little wobbly. Right. Because you guys would be like, oh.
Well, I'm the earthquake guy now.
There's an earthquake going on. Whatever.
I'm the earthquake guy now. Look, see?
That's true. So,
every time I touch my desk, it shakes.
Yeah. So my wife took it upon herself with no prompting. She was like, get that out of here. She got me like this wide base wicker desk. Like, I don't know, like a
wicker,
weird ottoman.
That's awesome, dude.
Okay. Well, it's like cast iron and then the top is wicker. I don't even know. I have to...
that is an interesting combination, cast iron and wicker. Really?
I don't think that's what it is, Derek.
I feel like that might not be right.
Wicker top. I don't know. Let me take a picture, but it's a little low. It's a little low, so I took the...
By the way, you're listening on the podcast. Derek is literally taking a picture with his very, very, and he's now showing it to the camera. Yeah, I mean, it does look kind of like that's cast iron with wicker on top, but he's also got the computer on top of like a plastic caddy. Cooler? Yeah, it's like a caddy.
Tote. Yeah, it's like a plastic tote. And so now the camera is eye level with my eyes. Well, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I'm not like looking down at the camera, getting weird angles.
Yeah, you don't want to look down at our listeners.
No. That's and rude. By the way, this is exactly why you have to be subscribed and watch the video. I mean, you missed out on a lot of great stuff. Derek literally took that iPhone 6. Is it a 6S?
No, it's a 6.
It's just a 6.
I upgraded from an iPhone 6 to an iPhone 6.
He got the cutting edge version iPhone 6 and he held it up. It was really cool because the way you held it up against your chest, kind of like, oh, I'm going to take a picture. It was a great picture, though. Turned out wonderful. Still a good camera on that iPhone 6.
Yes. And I did not get into a car accident this week, so there definitely was no collusion.
Collision?
Oh my gosh. That was funny. That caught me off guard. Okay, so before we get going, though, I do want to say, after you subscribe to the YouTube channel, please go to pneumacoffee.com, P-N-E-U-M-A coffee.com. Derek has some. He's holding up his mug and showing you right now. Pneuma Coffee in that mug. Go to pneumacoffee.com, put in that coupon code HWT. You're going to get 20% off, which is, good grief,
a lot
20%.
Of money.
You're going to save a lot of money by putting in that coupon code. We love Chris. We love his coffee. So go to pneumacoffee.com, PNEUMAHWT, coupon code 20% off. Thank you so much, Chris. We appreciate you.
I'm making the coffee.
All right.
Send us a check, Chris. We're ready for that. Fat checks.
So let's get going today. It's Wednesday, and usually on Wednesday, we just kind of have a little fun, talk about things that are on our minds. And today, I want to start it off with one thing. Now, Bob, I know you're going to talk about something, but I want to share something from Netflix that I watched this week. and now I'm literally obsessed with Motley Crue. They have a new movie about Motley Crue that came out on Netflix called The Dirt. And it's based on a book that Nikki Sixx wrote with another person way back in the day. It took like 16, 17 years for them to bring this movie to fruition. MTV originally bought the movie. They wanted to make it into kind of like almost like a VH1 kind of a movie. And Nikki Sixx was like, no. And they just held out and held out and held out. And they made this movie. And it was pretty doggone good. I enjoyed it. Motley Crue, obviously crazy. And that makes the movie pretty enjoyable also. Machine Gun Kelly, who's a rapper, actually plays Tommy Lee. And he does a really good job. So now all I do is watch all these YouTube videos about Motley Crue and like interviews that they've done and stuff like that. So if you are into like 80s hair bands, I highly recommend The Dirt on Netflix. Were either of you guys into them?
Who is not into 80s hair bands? That is
I don't know.
That is like essential listening. I mean, it's like saying, do you like music?
4 guys our age.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Girls.
Careful. I mean, you sound just like him. We might get a copyright thing.
Coming for you, Machine Gun Kelly. Isn't he in like a feud with Eminem?
He tried to be in a feud with Eminem, and then Eminem basically destroyed him.
Shut him down.
He did.
So it took a while. Apparently, he said something about Eminem's daughter Haley.
Oh boy.
And it took a while to get around back to Eminem from what Eminem had said. And of course, once that happened, he's going to do what he does best. Yeah. He's just going to make rhymes and destroy the guy. And he pretty much did. I didn't even know who Machine Gun Kelly was until Eminem.
I played you that song 100 times when you guys came to visit in South Carolina. You don't remember that Machine Gun Kelly song? Yeah, nope. B, call me Steve. Call me Steve.
Yeah, that's a stupid song.
You liked it when I played it. Don't even lie.
I didn't like it.
Yes, you did.
I laughed at it because every time it came on, you just started screaming like a madman.
That song.
My kids were laughing at it.
When the feud was at its peak, my son was, okay, you ever heard of this guy Eminem? And I'm like, of course I've heard of this guy Eminem. No, he didn't say that. He knows because we enjoy the classic Eminem songs. But he was telling me, he was all into the feud between Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem, and it was fire. It was lit. Hashtag lit fam.
Lit fam.
Lit fam.
So, I don't know. I'm just playing.
So the Motley Crue movie, I honestly, I was never a huge fan of Motley Crue.
Okay.
So I saw it on there when I went and watched a little bit of Netflix. I watched a movie on there, which I'll talk about in a second. But
okay.
I don't know if I'll watch it. Just like Bohemian Rhapsody, I don't know if I'll watch it.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's entertaining. It's because it shows you like just kind of like how those rock bands were back in the 80s. All those like rock bands, they were living in another world.
I have a limited amount of time to watch things, so when I do, it's got to be something like if I have a day where I'm off and I'm doing nothing, well then I maybe watch it. But I'm very specific on what I watch when I do watch it. I did watch a Netflix original called Triple Frontier.
Yeah,
how is that? I want to see that.
I watched it as well.
That I really, really enjoyed that. I mean, there's some areas that are pretty intense, and there's some sadness and all of that stuff. But I thought it was a really well done movie, great acting.
It had some really great people in it. I mean, it was
it did. Yeah, it was good. Very enjoyable movie.
I felt like I was very excited to see the movie, and I think maybe that kind of. You know how when you get excited about something and you think it's going to be really good and then you watch it and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, it was all right. That's how I felt after I watched it. It wasn't terrible. I enjoyed it, but I think I was expecting more than I got out of it.
You were expecting Black Hawk Down or something.
No,
right. I mean, to me, there wasn't really any downtime in the movie. I stayed engaged and entertained the whole time.
Yeah.
Video and audio quality, all that stuff. I mean, everything you see was good to me. So I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I guess I just felt like from the very get-go, once you get into what they're trying to do, I won't give anything away, but I felt like I knew what was going to happen in the end. Does that make sense?
Well,
No, it does.
Most films do that though. Most films have a, you got your protagonist goes through the journey,
Right,
and,
exactly.
Faces adversity and then
He's
comes
doing
out
his
of the
Family
end a
Guy
better.
right now.
Yeah,
Stewie.
I was is half-hearted, but you get it.
It was good.
Most
yeah, seriously.
That's
Hey,
way too loud. I got to turn him down.
most movies do that. Most
Yeah.
movies you kind of know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
but that's okay as long as the journey is entertaining.
I think you'll really enjoy it there.
There
It
was
good.
some really good fighting. Let's put it that way.
All right.
I mean, there was good stuff in there.
I guess it's my turn to suggest
Yeah,
something.
suggest.
That watching. All right, so I've been on Amazon Prime also. I do want to see Bruce Willis put out a remake of Death Wish. I want to watch that.
Yeah,
but
I watched that.
is that good?
Yeah, it was okay. It was pretty
Okay.
good.
That
That's
doesn't
all-
sound very good,
It
Scott.
was-
Okay.
Look, man,
Um,
I'm very critical of these movies. So, okay, go ahead. I'm more into
There is
TV than I am into movies right now.
On the Amazon Prime, there's a little known show. It's kind of produced in the BBC, and it usually only has like 6 episodes per series or per season.
Mhm.
You know how the
Okay.
British do.
Yeah,
You know how those British do. They only do like
course.
6 episodes. But there's a show called Catastrophe
Yeah.
on Amazon Prime. Have you seen that?
yeah, it's not bad.
All right.
I
not
watched
bad.
a couple of seasons and then I don't know how, but I kind of lost touch with it. But it's
All right.
good.
Well, they just released the 4th and final season of the show, and it's really good. Bob, if you've never heard of it, listeners, hey, we're talking listeners. If you've never heard of it, it's about this guy played by Rob Delaney. He's an American comedian, but in the show, he's like an advertising businessman, and he goes to England and has basically a 1 week. He basically has a little fling with a lady for a few days. Kind of like
We can all relate.
kind of like a 5-night stand or whatever like
Wow.
that, and very hot and heavy, quick, and he winds up getting her pregnant.
Mm.
And he comes back, and and they're both like in their 30s, and he basically decides to they basically decide to attempt a relationship and make it work.
Yep.
And the whole series and the whole show is about that, but they're very the writing is very clever, it's very funny, it's very stark, it's very witty, and it is dark too. It's kind of like a dark comedy, and they touch on a lot of different subjects, but
That guy,
it's really good.
Yeah.
the guy who's in, what's his name again?
Rob Delaney.
Rob Delaney is it the second Deadpool movie? He's one of the people.
Yes,
He's one of the superheroes that joins Deadpool, and it's pretty great.
You saw Deadpool 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was one of the guys that when he was recruiting people,
He's just some
he
dude.
was, I forget his name, Stewart. I don't know what
Yeah.
he was the one that had no superpowers. He's like, "What
Yeah.
are you doing here?" He goes, "I just saw the newspaper. I thought it'd
Yeah.
be cool."
Yeah.
And he's like the only one that survived,
Right.
Well, sort of.
I can't remember it.
He gets
Deadpool 2
gets
was-
barfed on by
Yeah.
that guy with the radioactive barf and dies. But he's the only one that makes the parachute drop besides
Right.
Domino. Okay. Not to spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Deadpool.
that
2.
doesn't even figure into the plot. But Deadpool 2 also very entertaining movie.
That whole thing with all the people when they're parachuting is one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie. I mean, that's so hilarious.
Yeah.
So
that
good.
was. You didn't
I can't even
expect
remember
it.
what it's about, but it's
No,
still
but it's still great, man.
You
Yeah,
didn't
I-
expect it, but it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's one of those movies that like I watched it probably 3 weeks ago. I remember nothing about the plot or anything. I just remembered it was a good funny
You
movie.
just laughed. It's just one of those movies. It's fun. Speaking of Marvel movies, I saw this thing on Facebook this week, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh. Chris, what's the guy who plays Captain America? Chris what?
Chris Helmsworth.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Evan.
Chris Evans decided to tell everybody right before the next Marvel movie comes out, Avengers Endgame, he decided that he wanted to let everybody know he doesn't know if he can support Tom Brady anymore because of Trump. And I thought that was pretty hilarious. And it's always like, why do these people do this right before their movie comes out? I guess
people don't. They just feel like their opinion's important. That's all.
I think part of it is there's part of me that thinks, okay, they're doing this because it's going to get buzz. And then there's part of me that thinks that they think they're so amazingly cool that everybody's going to be like, yeah, thank you, Captain America. Stop watching Tom Brady. It's just weird. It was just a very weird thing to come up out of nowhere. Like, I don't know if I can support Tom
part
Brady
of the whole
anymore.
Political garbage that's going on right now. So I try to stay out of all that stuff.
Chris Evans is
24 days from today, Avengers Endgame comes out.
Are you sure it's 24 days exactly?
Should be 1, 2, 3.
When we're recording?
3 days.
Oh, okay.
23 days because it comes out on the 26th.
Nice. Are you going to go?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
I can't do it now. I'm not sure I can support Chris Evans if he's going to make political
No, I'm not saying.
I'm
not saying don't support Chris Evans. I just think it's funny.
I think we're going to see it. And look, the Hollywood hypocrisy thing is just ridiculous. They try to talk about, you hear a lot of rhetoric coming out of Hollywood, but it turns out that, that's where it's a huge cesspool of sexual harassment and all of that. That's where it's been dominated by that for years.
Lying and cheating and paying people off to go to college.
Infidelity and stuff like that. Criminal enterprise.
Bob, is there anything that's been happening in your area that would be like a Hollywood guy getting away with something?
Oh yeah, with the Jesse Smollett thing here in Chicago. I mean,
dude, that's so funny when they were just like, you know what? He's got 16 charges against him, but we're going to drop it because he paid $10,000 fine and helped Rainbow Push Coalition for 2 days.
Well, whatever the case may be, whatever the reasons, if it's got to be an even playing field.
I guess.
I mean,
I think that we're just seeing now more than ever. I was really surprised when the people that did the college thing got in trouble. I really was.
Well, that's because somebody outside of their inner circle caught wind of it.
Yeah.
And they actually caught wind of it by accident. They were investigating something else.
So crazy.
And stumbled upon these records and these things and all that stuff. And that's what led to it. And, more and more names are going to come out of Hollywood people that have paid off. But to pay $6-10 million to get your kid into a college.
Especially one of them was to get into USC.
Right.
USC? I mean, I know it's a big college, but really? You're going to spend that much money to get your kid into USC? Weird. Anyway. Well,
it's just Hollywood is a different world from where we live. So
yeah. There are two different judicial systems. That's a hard word to say. If you got a lot of money, man, you can get away with a lot of stuff, it seems like.
Yeah, that's true.
Derek, you know what? I feel like right now would be the perfect time for...
It's time for another Derek Tant's Hot Take.
What are your thoughts?
Justice can be for sale. There's a lot of influence.
I love
mafia. There's mafia, and there's a lot of, judges have a lot of outside influences, and it's pretty rough.
Man, you sound sad. Did you guys see that a mob guy got shot for the first time, shot and killed like a couple weeks ago?
In New York, yeah.
Isn't that unbelievable?
They caught the guy who shot him too.
Man, it's been a long time.
Here in Chicago, apparently behind, they found like one of Capone's little, I don't know, like vaults.
Yeah.
In a restaurant here in Chicago called the Cuppy Bear.
Dude,
it's
that would have been a
Cubs.
perfect time for...
It's time for Bob's Fun Fact of the Day.
He already said it, though, Scott.
I know.
And this isn't really fun. This is just...
Yeah, it is. Unless there's nothing in it.
I think they don't know yet. The whole thing was they believe they found a vault. It's behind a brick wall.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
Dude, if it's loaded with money, that's going to be awesome.
It'll have his wig.
He had a wig?
Well, it was apparently one of Capone's henchmen who owned the building before the Wrigley Company purchased it, or whoever purchased it a while back. So the question is, if there is money and stuff back there legally, would the police want it because it could be part of an investigation or this and this and that? So I don't know. Right now, I think they're just trying to promote it as much as possible for promotion purposes.
Right.
And they'll probably knock down the wall and there'll be nothing in there.
Derek, who's the guy who first went into Al Capone's vault live on TV? Go.
Geraldo Rivera.
Nice. I knew he'd know the name.
Connie Chung's husband.
No.
No, that's Maury.
Oh, Maury. Yeah.
Hey, how do you get a job as a henchman? Like, is there an application process? You know,
Maybe.
Wouldn't it be fun to be a henchman for like a supervillain or something? Wouldn't that be neat?
It sounds fun, just like being in the mob, but then you do something wrong and you get whacked.
Yeah.
Then your life is over.
You get to be dressed really cool.
Yeah, but a lot of times you're gonna get beat up.
Yeah. Hey,
yes.
Here's Derek's fun fact of the day.
Okay, well, you don't have a fun. You only have hot takes.
I know, it's okay. We don't need an intro.
Okay.
Because I remember this because we were talking about corrupt judges and a corrupt legal system. I watched a movie on Netflix the other day, Law Abiding Citizen.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I haven't watched the movie, but I've
remember
looked at
the name, but I just don't.
Isn't it Gerard Butler and
Gerard Butler's in it? Yeah. So my wife's sister, she recommended us to watch this movie like 8 years ago.
Okay.
She's like, I remember offhand, she was like, she made like a big deal about it. She's like, you need to see this movie. It is really good. And we're like, okay. And we never did. And I saw that it was on Netflix the other day, and I was like, oh, we're watching this.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
and
the movie. Yeah. It's very entertaining. Gerard Butler. He plays a guy. He has a wife and a kid. Yeah. And one night there's a home invasion. Uh-oh. They're gonna get robbed. Well, one of the invaders was like, "Come on, let's just get out of here. Let's get the money and go." But the other guy was kind of a monster. He was like, he wanted to kill everybody. So he like stabbed Gerard Butler, stabbed and raped the wife, and then kills the kid. You know, yeah. And
that
basically
really
leaves
got
him
out
for
of hand
dead.
fast.
It did escalate. But at the trial, the guy that did the killing testified against the other guy who didn't really do a lot of the violent stuff. He was just like, let's get out of here.
Yeah. That
guy got executed. And then the guy who actually did all the killing, he was released from prison after 3 years because he got a. And
it's not cool.
Like, Jamie Foxx plays the district attorney.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah. So basically, Gerard Butler feels like justice was aborted. There was a miscarriage of justice. And so he goes on a rampage to get revenge on not just the criminals, but everybody that was involved in that case. He wants to bring the system down on its head. He wants to bring it down. I'm going to put the system on trial.
I like it. Now I have to watch it. All right.
And he's like a genius. So
you've never seen it?
Scott?
No. Oh, dude, it's a great movie.
I always think about watching it, but you know what?
It doesn't matter what you think.
It doesn't matter what I think.
No.
I do need to watch it. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up for today. On Friday, come back because we're going to talk about YouTube channels that we are in love with this month. Just this month. All the other months before that and after that, no, we're not in love with it.
No, we've got our favorites, but sometimes we fall in love with new ones.
Yes, we do. Okay, until Friday, make sure that you put about, 40 grams? No, wait a minute. What do you have? 40 ounces, 506 grams of coffee in your 40 grams. Wait, no, 40 ounces. Wait a minute. How many ounces?
Who wants coffee? Coffee? Anybody?
Do you know, Derek, how many? For 40 ounces of coffee, how many grams is it again?
75.
75. There you go.